On his way up, actually.
Okay.
I got word.
There he is.
Whoa! Look at that. Look at that.
Hi there.
Peace and love.
Sir
Peace
Paul.
and love. Sir Paul. I've got a half hour with you, so let's get right to it. I don't normally get nervous. But with you, I do because I feel like I have so many questions to ask you.
Yeah.
And then, when I get a half hour, I feel like, I'm not going to be able to handle it. But I was just playing Metallica's music, and it got me thinking. The song Helter Skelter.
This is
people
a great
have said,
interview.
And I
It's
wonder
really
if you agree
funny.
with this. This was really the
play
beginning of
along
heavy metal
some
music. Do you buy
Have
into
you
that?
thought about that?
Have you ever thought of it?
I will buy that theory.
Because it was before Led Zeppelin or anything like that.
Before Zeppelin, yeah.
And I guess I get hung up on that kind of thing. Like, do you get hung up on that? Like, do you want the full credit for maybe inventing heavy metal music?
You know what, Howard? I got so much credit for this and that. I don't need a bit more.
But for some reason that matters to me.
I would go for that.
You would go for that.
I would accept that credit, yeah. You know what happened?
Yeah.
I read in a music paper that The Who were putting out a new record.
Right.
And Pete Townsend, I think, was quoted, and he said, "It's the dirtiest, grittiest, filthiest piece of music." And I went, we've got to get there before they do or something, So I went to the guys and said, we're exactly the dirtiest,
Hey, Paul.
filthiest, grittiest.
You get
I'm going to show you my studio here
Oh, yeah.
today. I think
Isn't that
I've
crazy
got
though,
enough
in a way?
leeway
But
with
it
the
inspires you.
Well,
main cable
that's
to
what we're all about.
do it.
I mean, there's a track on my new
amps
album, which
stuff.
in one of the verses says,
This is really
everybody
funny,
else
man.
is busy
Paul
doing better than
he is
me.
a riot.
Because I think
Check.
a lot of people think that. And I've noticed it particularly in famous people.
Yes.
They're all like, oh, what's he doing? What's she doing? Oh, man.
Check. Okay.
No.
There's
Number
a
one,
sense of competition,
guitar.
and everyone else has more than
I have a
do.
guitar.
Yeah,
It's
they're all
several.
looking better than me.
Wait a minute.
They're singing better than me. That song is much better than mine. And, it doesn't matter how many accolades you've got. I think it's a very human instinct.
So when Pete Townsend says this, you then go to John and George and Ringo and you say, we've got to now make the dirtiest piece of music that we ever could.
We got to get there first.
And did you go home and write something?
Yeah, when I saw the quote in the paper, I wrote it, and then I said, we've got to do this.
And then I never understood the democracy of the Beatles. When you go to John, primarily your writing buddy, and you say, okay, I've written this dirty thing, does he get it right away? Or does sometimes he say, I don't get it, we're not doing this?
No, he'd get it.
He'd get it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, we grew up, we were kids together.
Your father, by the way, did not want you hanging around with John Lennon.
He didn't mind. He didn't mind John.
Didn't he say that John was a bad influence, and you almost had to sneak out and meet with John when you guys were young kids?
Well, almost, but by the time I met John, I had a little say in the matter.
I think your father was right. You should have stayed away from him. Really, a very upsetting guy. When you were with Wings, I thought it was interesting. Very rarely would you perform someone else's song. But the song that freaked me out that you guys performed was Richard Cory by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Wings actually recorded, well, you did it live.
Yeah.
It's about a guy who commits suicide.
That's right, yeah.
Why did you choose that song of all the songs in the world? That's such an obscure Simon and Garfunkel song.
It was actually Denny Lane's choice.
Oh, Denny Lane chose
to do that, yeah.
And you went along with it.
He's the suicidal one.
I see.
No.
Yeah, because you left him.
Yeah.
I'd be suicidal too if Paul McCartney left me.
No, we did a couple of covers. We did that one, and we also did Love Is Strange.
But when Simon and Garfunkel hear about that you're doing Richard Cory in concert, do they ever write you a note? And do they? I mean, that's like
P-bass on
the
my
sign of
Roland
endorsement.
Fantom.
Paul McCartney is singing our song in concert.
Know your
Does anyone
blues, man.
contact you about that?
No.
Right,
No.
Paul?
Nobody ever. I'm
I have it
still
set up
waiting for
to
that.
I can plug my P-bass
Well,
into
no, seriously. I mean,
the
that's
Phantom
like,
has-
wow, Paul McCartney
it's
chose
a-
my song to sing in
the
concert.
flagship from 15 years ago, Roland Fantom,
I don't know,
88
I
key
think
hammer
everyone's
action,
busy doing better than
2001
me.
sound.
Right, that's how it all
They're all
works.
doing
They
stuff,
don't even care.
It makes it really
I'm
convenient.
not even sure if he's aware.
The
of
studio
it.
is really
I
set
have
up
a
nice,
question
walk
about
through
Get
3
Back.
rooms, all
When you
soundproof
were
in
recording
the
it,
country,
Yoko was in the
Northport,
studio.
Florida.
Every time you sang Get Back,
Look at that guy.
John accused you of staring at Yoko.
Yeah.
And he took it as an insult.
Get back!
Because you were
To where
telling
you
him to
came
get back
from!
to where you once belonged.
To where
That's
you
not
once
true.
belong!
Is
I
that
mean,
true?
those were very
Yoko!
paranoid
No Yoko!
times,
I know.
And
No
let's
Yoko.
face it, we didn't welcome Yoko in the studio because we thought it was a guy thing. I mean,
Yes.
even the guys' wives and the girlfriends and stuff weren't really welcome in the studio. They could, control room for a quick visit.
Right.
But actually sit in the studio with us, it was like, no, excuse me, we're working.
Did you have the guts to say that to John?
No.
You did not. If you had said
it
that...
It was kind of obvious, though.
Yes, but weren't you acting out passively aggressively in the sense that you're sitting in the
Gets
studio,
my
you're
cables.
just steaming, rather than saying, John, in a kind of a loving way.
It is.
"Help,
A band is
this is hurting me.
a band
I can't
thing, a
work
dude
this
thing.
way to have
If
someone
you're all dudes.
observing." But
And
everyone was just
No,
kind of
we didn't want
sniping.
girlfriends having an opinion at our rehearsals.
I don't even think
I was in a very
sniping. I
big
think we were
band
just
for my town,
fuming.
Santa Barbara,
Right.
which is
And sulking
90 miles from
and
Hollywood.
being kind of,
Did
And I
John
played,
ever say,
the
"Look, I'm
people in the
bringing you,"
audience
and
were
ask
like,
permission to do
No,
it?
he didn't.
from Hollywood, in
the
their
thing
Montecito
is, it was really
mansions,
just
going
the
downtown
initial
State
shock
Street at Baudelaire's,
of Yoko sitting
or
on one
anywhere.
of the amps.
Right.
of
You know,
all
excuse me,
places
that's my
that
amp.
I had played in one band or
She
another,
couldn't use the
rambunctious.
stool.
Oh, I
But,
think
um,
it was
Realmers.
mind-blowing, Paul.
It was
And mainly
mind-blowing,
Gemini for
but,
several years.
Later on,
it wasn't a
we
bum fuck
suddenly sort of thought, you know what?
Down in Idaho,
John's
where
in
we were a
love with
good
this
band. I
girl.
was a
If he wants
lead
to bring
guitar
her in the
player
studio,
and backup
we've gotta
singer
cope
in my
with
own
that.
band that I wrote
And we
all the
learned to
songs
cope
for
with it. And,
played
you
top
know,
40
I now
for 6
feel
years,
that he had
and
the
then got
right
into the
to
studio
do that.
work because
Um,
Hollywood
it might
offered
have
me
been better if he'd been a little
songwriting
bit
contract.
more diplomatic
And I almost
sort of
got
say,
caught
"Hey,
up
no,
in
I'd
all
love
of
to be-
it. I got
I
married to
really
an
love her,
actress
I
who
just
was the
want to be
leading
near her
role
all
in
the
The
time."
Guiding Light
Right.
But we had to figure that out.
in Hollywood. Mindy on The Guiding Light, I'm sure all you women know. Yeah, she was a black widow. We had never should have gotten married. Let's put it that way. It was ridiculous. Anyway, let's continue with this. But Hollywood, I know Hollywood.
And we did.
I lived in the
eventually.
Hollywood
It took
Hills.
some time, and there was a few.
Right up
looks
Laurel
went
Canyon,
on.
off a
I was
teeny little
saying
road
this
in a
morning
mansion
that
owned by some
eventually you even came to say
billionaire
that you feel Yoko was
junker,
instrumental in
the
John's solo
metal
career.
guy we call it. He owned all the
Because,
junkyards in
the
LA County,
inspiration for
like
Imagine
Santa
and
Claus,
all
and
of
we
that,
were
you feel
caretakers,
came
me
from
and my
Yoko.
ex-wife.
Yeah.
That was his muse, so to speak.
I think so. I
There we
think
go.
With the Beatles, we came full circle.
They did.
Right.
And so when we broke up, it was the right time for us to break up.
You were young guys. You needed
There was
to go
nothing
off
more
on
they
your
could
own in a
do.
sense.
And he'd found, as you say, Yoko, his muse, and she was taking him in a
Stand by.
completely new
Yeah.
direction.
Right.
Sort of avant-garde, all stuff we'd liked, all stuff we'd admired in other people, but suddenly he had a ride on this bus.
You've said that you want to be remembered for Maybe I'm Amazed out of all the songs that you've written, which is an amazing song. But in a sense, maybe you understand the Yoko thing better because you wrote that for Linda, and you said at the end of the Beatles, I don't know if you were close to a nervous breakdown, but you were pretty upset. And
Yeah.
And you wrote that song because Linda got you through the breakup of the Beatles.
Yeah, that's true.
What did she do for you?
It was her attitude. Well, she was a loving wife,
Right,
you
that's
know,
for one.
and she was great that way. But it was her attitude. She would just say, let's just get away. Don't go to those meetings. Let's just get out of here.
She was able to lift your mood.
And the kind of
shit
thing,
my whole life, it doesn't mean
it's the kind of
crap.
thing Linda would say, if you're sort of
Anyway.
wondering, oh, is it okay to do this? Should I do this? She'd say, it's allowed.
Right.
And this whole "it's allowed" attitude would be like, wow, yeah.
And so you sat down and wrote that song thinking of her and saying, wow, I'm amazed how you pulled me out of this mire of like depression, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
What were you really scared of, that you couldn't do it on your own?
No, I mean, it was a heavy thing. The Beatles breaking up. I'd known nothing else. When I was a kid, we joined the Quarrymen. We'd gone to Hamburg as the Silver Beatles. We'd refined it. Suddenly we had this phenomenal success, particularly in America, which all British guys find hard to break.
Right.
And we had this crazy success. And suddenly, bingo, it was gone, like overnight. It was like, whoa, you cope with that, buddy.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, what do we do now?
I was thinking about that success. When John made that statement, we're bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
In a way, I get it, because when you write that many hit songs, it's godlike. Back then, it was unheard of.
Christ,
It's
that
still
was
unheard of.
Jesus'
Every
point
lyric
that
is
everyone's going to be more
analyzed.
popular than him.
And you're influencing fashion.
It's like the Bible.
And you're driving an industry. I mean, it was amazing what was going on.
Yeah, and also, he didn't mean it how it came out. It sounded very arrogant. What he meant was, these days, the church, those days,
Right.
the church was in a bit of a state. No one was going to church. No one was bothering to.
Nobody had a religious feeling.
Congregations were low.
Right.
And so he was like sort of saying, really, hey, get your act
Exactly what
together.
he was trying to say. Exactly what Jesus
At
said.
the moment, you know.
You'll have
And
more
which
interest than
infuriated
every
me. I
other
still
pop
got a
star
picture burned into my memory
of your day
of some
than
young
in him.
blonde white kid when we were down in God knows where, Alabama or somewhere, hammering on the window of our tour bus, looking like he was going to like try and kill us. It was like, whoa,
People were-
slow down, kid.
Well, people with their Jesus, they don't want to hear any nonsense, you know.
Yeah, better believe it.
I never had a religious feeling. And the Beatles to me were actually meant more to me
Poor
than any
man.
religion because I
Poor
learned
man.
from the Beatles. I mean,
Money.
I actually
I
Who
think
gives a
that's
shit?
what
my
John
own-
was pointing out.
He
It
loves
wasn't that he
Mammon.
was anti-Christianity or anti any religion. He was just pointing out that they didn't have their act together.
It's what
as much
Jesus
as
said.
we did
Don't
at that
believe in
point.
the organized religion.
getting better all the time. I heard you were
He said
walking
it
along,
himself.
just walking your dog
And
somewhere,
why did the
and you just had the thought,
Muslims
it's getting
don't
better all
believe
the
he's
time. Meaning
God?
the sun was out,
Because
the day
he
is
said,
getting
"I can't
better."
do anything
That's
without
it?
the Father?
That's the thought?
Because
and
if
then
he
how do
did,
you know that's a
he
song?
wouldn't be
Where
God.
does that come from?
Because it's
You
one
know,
truth. It's
I'm a
one
kind of optimist,
central
so
truth.
those phrases
elixir
I noticed
that pulled
it's
out
getting better.
a son, a father,
and I
and
sat
all
down,
of the
I
Spirit.
remember sitting
You
down with
understand
John
why he
in my
couldn't
music
go
room in
against
London,
the authority of
at
God
the
because
top
he
of my
is
house,
the one who
where
made
we'd
that
write
authority and
often.
all those rules.
I remember sitting down and saying,
You
this idea,
raghead
the song,
idiots.
so we were kind of jamming.
I don't
Said
give a
it's getting
shit
better all
anymore.
the time.
This
He went,
country's
"It couldn't
falling
get
apart
much
because of
worse."
Islamic
Okay, now we're
radicals.
off. I mean, that was the good
And
thing
he
about
knows
having
he's
a
just
great
lost his country.
collaborator.
Right.
You throw him a line, and he throws you something back. He could have said, you know, I could have gone, it's getting better all the time. He could have gone, oh yeah, you're so right, babe.
Right.
But that wouldn't have worked.
No. That's
So he does the sort of John Lennon sarcastic thing, couldn't get much worse.
right.
And when we look at each other, we go, okay.
You guys are such yin and yang. Like you even being a left-handed guitar player.
Yeah.
He's a right-handed guitar player. Even when I watch you on stage, you're almost mirrors of each other. Like
Yeah.
you're mirroring him because of that dynamic. And I'm always fascinated how hard it must be to be in a band. I feel like you were very serious when you went into the recording studio. But even in that song, Getting Better, John was tripping on acid during the recording of it. And he kind of laid back. That's what I read. Wasn't that just completely debilitating to you that your partner is tripping? You're in the studio trying to work. Or was it just everything's cool?
It was, you know, it was crazy because he had a little pillbox, you know, and he had his little sort of, you know, upper and his little downer, and he thought he was taking a little upper. And so he goes, and we're getting on with this session, and he just comes over to me and whispers, I tripped over the what did you take? I said,
Oh, man.
okay, well, let's work around that then. Yeah, so we just kind of kept going, and then at one point, George Martin comes in, who knew nothing about anything. He said, John is not too well. I said, no, he's not feeling, he's a little under the weather. Because we had to hide it all from George. Because George was a grown-up.
Right. He was an
He was an adult.
How would his behavior change if he knew that John was unhappy? Would he have stormed out of the room and said, I'm not working with this guy?
Tried to cope with it. In fact, he said, let's take him up to the roof of the building where there's fresh air.
Oh, that's a good idea. You can jump off.
We better come with you.
Well, think that would disturb you. You describe it as, hey, this is part of the creative process.
You know, things happen in the studio that you couldn't always predict. And a lot of it was very good. So we got used to accidents and things just, you know, so we rolled with the punches. We were pretty good at rolling with the punches. That one was quite a punch to roll with. We did it. We finished the track, you know. I took John home that night.
Right.
To my place.
And I heard that after you dropped him off, you went home and took acid. Because why? You wanted to be in sync with him. When you guys first come to America, you're all wearing the same suit, and you all have the exact same haircut. Who decides that that's going to be the look? Because you're in a band, someone's got to come up with that.
No, it was kind of organic. John and I were in Paris on a holiday.
Right.
He had a rich uncle who'd given him £100, actually, which I still think is a lot of money.
Sure.
What's that in dollars? That's $250 or something.
Don't ask me.
It's
a lot of money to a young guy.
It's a lot of money to a young guy,
Right.
and particularly then. Anyway, we went off to Paris and we bumped into one of the guys we knew from Hamburg. He was called Jürgen. And he had this kind of haircut where his hair was kind of forward, and we were doing the rocker look with the greased back and the slicked hair, Jürgen thought it was really cool that we were kind of rocking guys. We said, well, we're on holiday, we're in Paris, So he said, could you do hair like yours? I said, no, I can't do this. No, this is not good. Look at rockers. I said, no, we want to change. So he did it, and then we went back to England. Everyone went, what the? We say it's the new fashion. It's from Paris. It's cool.
Right.
And so after a little bit of resistance, we all got into it. All the Beatles got into it. And then we'd go to a clothes shop. One of us would find where they had great roll neck sweaters. I mean, the others all dive in there the next day.
Right.
We all just liked what each other liked. I mean, Mick Jagger used to call us the four-headed monster.
But isn't it? But because you all dressed the same.
We dressed the same. We often went into the same shop at the same time. Like in Hamburg, we came back with a lot of clothes from Hamburg, like you do on a foreign trip.
Thinking,
right?
Because then all your friends go.
John Lennon was praying in a manger.
Isn't it amazing when you think about merchandising today?
They're playing cards.
Listen, the Beatles made a lot of money, but I'm sure you never imagined that you would actually be trendset. Like if I saw the Beatles wearing something, I wanted to wear it. I mean, if you had just kind of, before you even put that look on an album, you just put those suits out or put those clothes out.
You never thought of that in those days.
No, and maybe thank God, because it was just about music.
Now, the thing is, thank God, because the Beatles weren't very, outside of our music, we weren't very commercially minded.
Right.
I mean, people would come to us and say, will you do a commercial? Like Coca-Cola came to us. I have $1 million. In those days, that was
big
quite
money.
a lot. Still is.
Right.
We'd say, nah, we don't. You know why? Because we actually did one commercial for a jeans thing while we were in Liverpool.
Wow.
We thought, this is cool. They want us to be in an advert.
Right.
So we went, we got photographed in these jeans. We're all trying to be groovy. It ended up in some paper. And we just looked at it and oh, God, no.
You knew that wasn't right.
We can't do this. This is like a cop-out.
They call that your brand now. When I thought the Beatles were in trouble, too, because in every album, even like Magical Mystery Tour, everybody was sort of in the same place, even fashion-wise. And then all of a sudden I saw you guys all looking different.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, maybe that's the thing. But I always thought the Stones, you bring up Mick Jagger, I always think of the Stones. I mean, they're great.
These guys led fashion,
and Keith,
for 20 years.
But when you
2
guys
decades.
came out with a Sgt. Pepper's kind of
did.
thing, the next thing you know, Mick and the
When
guys
they
were
changed,
dressed as
they were all wearing the
and,
same thing.
on
Then
their
they
album.
individual.
Or you'd have Beggar's Banquet come out around the same time that you guys were doing Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were
Howard's an idiot, but
not only competing
he's a
with
pretty
you,
good interview.
but
Not like he
following
did
you.
when he started.
But
Well,
was
that is the
talking about
truth.
finger
I
banging
mean,
and
I
everything
don't
else,
kind of
every
try to
other
rub it
word.
in because I know the guys. I don't
Sorry.
Right.
rub it in too much if you're listening, Mick or
Yeah.
Keith.
They're listening.
But
Yes.
however, you look at the history of it all. The Beatles come to America. A year later, the Stones come to America.
Yes.
We wrote their first single, I Want to Be Your Man.
Yes.
They didn't have a single. They couldn't get one together.
Yeah.
So we wrote them one, As you say, then we'd make this record. They'd come out with this. We'd go psychedelic. They'd go psychedelic, all dressed as wizards.
Yeah. Wizard, yeah. And a lot of pictures I
Those
see.
were the days, baby.
Yes.
But a lot
Let's all dress as wizards now.
But a lot of people are.
Thank God you guys didn't do some of that stuff because you see people walking around now still trapped.
I know.
But a
in
lot of the
their
pictures I
time
see,
period.
Time
Mick
warp.
Jagger is sitting there in the studio with you guys at the
Yeah.
mixing board.
Is he?
Yeah, we were very good friends. I mean, we still are, but we hung out quite a bit then.
Right.
We all lived in London. They'd moved not too far. They lived just outside, and we'd moved from Liverpool. So there was a scene, and we would bump into each other quite a lot,
I remember even, I don't know if you said it or not, but your 2011 solo tour, when you went out on tour, and you made something like $40 million, and then all of a sudden the Stones went back out on tour, and you kind of felt like, hey, wait a second, again I'm inspiring the Stones. They're seeing that at my age I can go out on tour and make a fortune, and they're going out now and making a fortune.
Well, maybe, I don't know, and we all look at each other, so maybe that happened. I don't know, you'd have to ask.
Do you get together with those guys?
Yeah, occasionally, yeah.
Socially, where would you go with them?
But, the main one was I was on holiday in the Caribbean, and Keith had a house just down the beach from where I was staying. So I went every afternoon of that holiday over to hang with Keith. And it was great. We were saying, you know what, man? We've known each other 40 years, and we've never had time to hang. And here we are, we're just having a drink together.
So what does hanging look like with Keith Richards?
And we talk a lot about music, and he's very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Keith is very knowledgeable. He'd have something playing, and I'd say, oh, early Chuck Berry. He'd go, no, that's where Chuck got it from. So
wow.
he's an, what do you call
aficionado.
Aficionado.
Is it important to you when you have personal friends, when you have friendships, that someone really have a good understanding of music and the history of music? I mean, it's almost mandatory, right?
Not really, no. I mean, I know a lot of friends who aren't really that into music. But, that week with Keith, we did all that. I mean, it was hysterical. We got into such silly talk. Because he's very funny, and we got really quite funny together.
Does it bother you to be around someone who smokes that many cigarettes? I mean, are you afraid it'll affect your life? No, you don't care.
No.
You don't worry about that.
No, I mean, I was brought up in a room where if someone didn't have a cigarette, that was strange.
Right.
So, just the whole room was, I was brought up in cigarette smoke.
I remember for years, you smoked. Every picture I saw, you had a cigarette.
Yeah, we all smoked, yeah.
Yeah, and you stopped when?
I stopped, like late 70s, I think.
Was that hard for you?
It was actually very easy touch. I was very lucky. I know a lot of people have a major problem. What happened was I got a flu, and you got this terrible flu. Then you go, okay, now I've got to have a ciggy.
I know.
And it's the worst cigarette in the world.
Right.
It tastes like cotton wool, but you've got to tough it through to get to the next ciggy.
Yeah.
So I'm going, I go, what are you doing?
You had that epiphany.
I look at this thing and I go, I'm smoking cotton wool.
I had Graham Nash in here the other day, and he told a great story that Crosby, Stills, and Nash, when they wrote their first album, they wanted to be on Apple Records. It was their dream to be on Apple. They thought it was a great fit. They auditioned in front of George Harrison. They literally played every song on that first album for George, and George told them, no way. Isn't that something?
He's a good judge.
Yeah. Our musicians sometimes the worst judge of, but Ahmet Ertegun got it right away and signed them.
Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel, we were signing bands on Columbia, and they passed on Crosby, Stills, and Nash too. Ahmet was the only one who got
Something
it.
about that group.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it, are they?
No. But no, I remember they had a place. They were all living together in Chelsea somewhere.
Right.
I remember going by, and they'd just pull out a guitar, and they would sing Marrakesh Express, and they'd sing it in this beautiful 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
And it was great. I was impressed. I didn't realize they'd come for a record deal.
Yeah, they wanted to be on Apple. The fascinating parts of your early life. When you were dating Jane Asher, all right, you were a young man.
Yeah.
You were already in the Beatles. The Beatles were hugely famous. You moved into her house with her parents.
Yeah.
And they had a Beatle living in the house with Jane Asher. That had to be weird as hell, right? Here you had a lot of money. You're the successful guy.
It was great for me. What happened was we had a flat in Mayfair. There was in this thing called Green Street, and it was just a rental flat.
Right.
And I was very used to like home comforts, not luxury, but home comforts. So I like there to be a meal available somewhere, And I wasn't. So the guys got into the flat before I did, and when I got this, there's your room.
And it was horrible.
It was a very little.
You got the crap room.
I got the crap room.
Did you say, hey, I'm writing most of these songs here. What about me?
Move out. I want the big room.
Yeah, Ringo, you're just a drummer.
So I was not happy in this place. And the thing is, I look at it now and I think, Well, anyone else would go in there and think, okay, we've got to furnish this place, got to make it like home. We didn't think like that.
Guys don't
It was
think
just,
like that.
No, we just went, there's nothing on the walls. What's going on?
And nobody does anything about it. It's almost
Somebody
like
else ought to
Check.
do that
Check.
for us.
it's like a pissing contest. I know when I went to college, my roommate
Check,
and I
check.
would be like, "You clean the bathroom." No, you clean the bathroom. No one would clean the bathroom. It's just you clean the bathroom.
Not my job.
It's not my job.
You know.
No different for the Beatles. And think about it.
So I moved out
Right.
with and into Jane's house. Her main reason, her mum was a real mum.
Right, but the mom would let you sleep with Jane in the house, or was
So
that?
the mum didn't know about that
So you
bit.
had to sneak into the room. And her brother,
Peter and Gordon.
and you were very generous. Like you would take your leftover songs and give them to Peter, right? While you were doing it for Jane. Is that to impress Jane?
Doing and
And you just
so something I wasn't going to do. It has to be something I'm not going to do with the Beatles.
right.
I knew I wasn't going to do that, so I said, look, this would be
Oh my God, the guy had a hit record. Oh, that's unbelievable. Did you start to believe I could never write a bad song?
No, I wrote some stinkers.
What's a stinker that you wrote?
Stinker, etc.
Etc. You never released it. Did you ever worry
I'm
that
never going to.
Never going to, but do you ever worry that etc. would have been a huge hit? Like what if you had said, "Let it be" is
Believe me.
nothing. You know? No, is no way.
Well, the only one I didn't see was Get Back.
Really?
Yeah, because I just thought it's a kind of little jam and things, and then I'd play it and people would go, wow, I love that. And I go, oh, okay. So I got it through their eyes. But etc. Now, Marianne Faithfull had asked me to write a song for her.
Right.
And I'd been sitting around jamming as I was writing, because I used to go over to their place a bit. And I'd been sitting around with Eleanor Rigby. So she thought I was going to give her that.
Right. No way.
So then I show up, no way. So I said, no, I'm going to do that one.
Right.
So I then show up with, etc. And she's like, oh, thanks.
Gee, that one, huh?
That one, not the one you were humming?
The first song you ever wrote with John. I forget the name of it. Someone once told it to me, but you've only like maybe sung a few lines of that. You guys would never release that, right? You didn't like that song. It was the first song you ever wrote together. What was the name of that?
First song, I think there was one called Just Fun
Was that it?
that we didn't release, yeah.
Why? You just thought it sucked?
Yeah, we started to do better.
It was an early attempt that just didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, we weren't trained.
Right.
So we were just young kids, and I had written a couple on my own, and then I met John, and I would say to people, oh yeah, I've written a couple of songs, it was like my little boast. And people would go, oh, wow, really? But he said, so have I.
Yeah, right.
I went, what? He was the only person ever said that. So then we got together, and I'll show you mine if you'll show me yours. And Just Fun came out, and it wasn't very good.
And it wasn't very
We
good.
plowed on it.
Brian Epstein was your manager, right? He dies. You assume all the business responsibility for the Beatles, and it was a weight on your back. True or false? That's the song.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought of it like that, but, someone had to kind of keep the ship steady on course kind of thing, and I suppose it fell to me in some degree.
Carry that weight wasn't about the weight of the business of the Beatles that you carried on your
No,
back?
it was just about life at that moment.
Oh,
I mean, that was the period during which the word heavy emerged.
right.
It's heavy, man.
Yeah.
Everything was
Do you remember
heavy.
that? There was a time when no one used to say that.
First
It
runs of the
like
day,
it's heavy.
kind of like
Yeah, like that kind of just
diarrhea runs.
8
Get 'em
days
out,
a
get 'em
week,
out.
someone said you were
Check
in
'em
a
out.
car.
I'd been caught speeding, so I needed to be driven. So I had a driver
Yeah.
take me out to
Gateside.
John's house. And just as we're pulling up to
That's
John's
loud.
house, I happened to say to the driver, so, you've been busy or you've been crazy? He said, oh, man. He said, yeah, I've been working 8 days a week.
And then
So then I go into John's and I
Right.
say, I got it, got the title. And then we made the song
you said,
together.
I've got it. We're going to write 8 days a week today.
Yeah, so
I
you
like
work
that.
backwards.
Yeah.
I love you, baby. I literally love you 8 days a week.
Did you and John ever sit and say, hey, let's go meet some songwriters and see their process? Let's see how they write because maybe we'll learn something? Because you were just making it up as you went along.
Yeah, we didn't want to go meet anyone.
You didn't.
No, I mean, as you say, we were making it up. We'd learned. I think the great thing about me and John
Yeah.
is we were kids. Then we were a year older, we were going to Paris.
Right.
Then we were doing this and this and this. And so the songs were reflecting that. We'd write a song that we thought was okay. Then we'd write something like From Me to You, which were in the middle eight, so they went somewhere a little bit more sophisticated. And then we'd start, so we kind of had a staircase, and we both knew what step to take next on that staircase.
With Rubber Soul, do you think that's when the Beatles really got it as songwriters?
Yeah, I think that was a good turning point. Revolver was just before that.
Right, and Revolver was a pretty big turning point.
I think there was a turning point there. Yeah, I mean, originally we're kids out of Liverpool,
Right.
listening to what grown-ups tell us about making records, and trying to figure it out ourselves. So all the early records are to the fans.
Right.
Absolutely, it's like Love Me Do. P.S. I love you.
Right.
Oh, by the way, she loves you. Oh, by the way, this is from me to you.
Right.
Oh, thank you, girl. So it's all very,
Rudimentary?
yeah, rudimentary and directed at the fans. We're doing it for the girls kind of thing, basically. And then we started to realize that we didn't have to do that.
Right.
That we could go to other subjects. So it broadened out a bit,
Yeah, the audience kind of allowed you to do that too because they were going along for the ride. They
That's
loved
right.
it.
Yeah, well, some of them fell off the edge of the world.
When
But
you
then others came on.
But then others came on.
when you wrote Why Don't We Do It in the Road, you saw monkeys fucking somewhere. Is that true? Is that true or not?
Yeah, that is true. In Rishikesh, where we
you were
went,
in India.
and we went to study meditation.
Right.
And these houses had little flat roofs. It was a lovely day, so I was out meditating. I saw a little troop of monkeys walk through the jungle.
Right.
And I'm fascinated. It's wildlife. And I just see one of the guys. He just kind of jumps on the back of this female monkey. I'm going, hey, baby,
look at this.
It's porn.
So that's why,
Jungle porn.
So that's jungle porn, and that's why don't we do it in the road? That's fascinating me, but even more fascinating, you went into this studio, and maybe this is even why the Beatles had to end. John was upset that you went off into a room to record this by yourself.
Me and Ringo
Was it?
went off into a room.
And John went, oh, I guess that's the way it's got to be, but didn't we used to all just record together, and now Paul's going off on his own and playing
Yeah.
all the parts?
Yeah, it's true.
It pissed him off.
It did piss him off. We were on a heavy deadline with that record, and we knew we had to finish it by the Sunday. So I was just trying to get everything in.
Why a deadline, though, Paul? I mean, aren't these deadlines artificial? I mean, a record company says we need an album now.
No, they fix a release date.
I see.
They say you were going to release your record then, so you ought to have it finished then. And we'd always push it. We'd always be a day late. We'd be fiddling around trying to get it perfect. No, but you listened to the label in those days. I remember going in on a Sunday morning to finish up the running order and everything on the White Album.
Don't you think that's a time in your life where you were trying, maybe not even conscious of it, but you're saying to John, I like sometimes doing something on my own. I don't always want to be the Beatles.
I think we were both doing that.
When did you realize George could write songs? Was it Here Comes the Sun?
Yeah, and something, Here
Right.
Comes the Sun, around that period.
Were you shocked that he was that good of a songwriter?
No, I was happy. He'd written a couple before that on one of the earlier albums, which were really good, starting to shape up. He'd never seemed that interested.
Right.
And I suppose because John and I were kind of dominating it.
But do you think he got inspired and kind of learned from you two? He saw how you put together a song. I mean, he had the best two teachers in the business, right?
Yeah, I suppose he thought I could do that. Yeah.
Was it about money too, though? And I want you to be honest about this because I've always been curious. When it comes down to it, the real money to be made in music is publishing. You and John putting all the songs together, you had the publishing. Bringing George into that and suddenly saying on an album, hey, we're going to give you 5 or 6 songs, would it be unheard of? Because financially even it would have hurt you, no?
Yeah, I don't think we thought of it like that. In the very early days, it is true that you're trying to work out the dynamics of a group. There's only 4 people.
Right.
So you've got to go, well, 2 of us might do this, and then or you've got to say, we're all going to ride equally. Well, in that case, Ringo better up his game a bit.
Right.
Because, John and I were writing. George and Ringo weren't.
Right.
You always
So
gave
I
Ringo
said-
a song on the album.
Well, yeah, every one of us had fans.
Right.
So Ringo had a lot of fans, still does. You know, he's a great guy.
He had to stop doing autographs.
Yeah.
Don't
Peace
you
and
love
love.
that?
Peace and love.
I'm not going to sign anymore.
I'm too busy.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless him. I love that.
But-
I think that's Ringo, though. That's his thing.
He's ornery. This to me is an amazing songwriting story. Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
The guys from James Bond say, hey, Paul McCartney, will you write a song for us for our movie? And they have the
the
nerve
rest
to
of
say
them.
to you, we don't want you to record it.
Screwing
We
around.
don't want Wings doing it.
Just straight
We'll just write it and we'll have someone
51,
else do
50,
it.
Saldano.
And you say no
Channel
way.
2.
So, you know,
Like
if I write
medium
it,
gain.
which I'd be happy to
Thing
do.
screams outside.
wanna record
This is
it.
at
Who
20
wouldn't want
watts.
you to
It goes to
record
40
that?
watts. It's a combo,
Copy
iconic.
broccoli.
And according to one of the guys in Wings, and I don't remember who it was, he says you went into a room, they told you the name of the movie, and you were kind of like, hey, I've never written a song based on a movie name. And you walked out 10 minutes later with Live and Let Die, which is amazing to me.
It's amazing, but not quite true.
Not 10 minutes?
Not 10 minutes.
What was it?
You know, what it was is I first of all, I thought, well, I'll read the book. I didn't have a script.
Right.
So I thought, but they're going to pretty much stick to the book. So I got the Ian Fleming book and I read it. It's a very quick read.
Right.
So I read it on the Saturday.
That was nice of you to read it.
It was good of me.
Right.
But, and then I wrote the song on the Sunday.
Wow.
So it was kind of quick and I was ready to record on the Monday.
Is it true that Jimi Hendrix approached you out being in a supergroup, that it was going to be
I
Miles
didn't
Davis?
know that. So just the other day, someone showed me a telegram, as it was in those days, and it was true. But he didn't approach me personally. He didn't have my number for some reason. I didn't have his. But he approached some office guy who then sort of said, sorry, he's away.
I wonder how that would have worked.
That would have been cool.
Would you give me a 12-hour interview one time? And so I
Yeah.
could sit here, we'll just sit here
We
for 12
need the
hours.
time.
We'll do
We
a
do.
series
Paul,
like the
first of all,
Encyclopedia of
Paul, I can't tell you what it means to me personally when you come in here. I have so many things that I want to ask you about. Even Billy Joel told me a great story about preparing for a visit that you were coming to his house. He hid all the meat in the house.
I
Did you hear
heard
about
that, yeah.
He said he knew you were a vegetarian. He forgot where he hid the meat, and the meat was rotting in his house. I had so many things to discuss with you, and I don't want to make you late. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart how much you mean to me, how important you are to me, and to know that you would spend some time with me. It moves me to no end.
Thank you, Howard.
Come back sometime.
I will come back to see you, Howard, because I love you.
I
And that
love
was
you.
very moving what you said to me, and I love you too.
Well, peace and love.
Thank you,
love.
peace and love to you,
All
and
right.
to Robin, who I love as well.
Thank you, Paul.
And you are bigger than Jesus. I'm just saying it.
No way.
It's
Well,
for
we
me.
never met Jesus. We don't know.
I met him.
Everybody
Is
needs
he a tall
Jesus.
guy?
Thank you, Paul. I'm really nervous right now, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you. Holy mackerel. It's
All right, well, it's
him.
a new show.
Watch your
so
step, Keith.
I'll see you later. Oh, it's Keith.
Oh, this is scary.
I'm going to do it next hour. I got to rest. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Hope I didn't
gotta
fuck it
just
up.
take you in. I was at a little radio station when I started my career, and I see this album by ZZ Top, and it looked cheap. And I went, who are these guys? It blew my mind when I put it on. It's like Texas rock.
Yeah,
And I dug it.
Yeah, I mean, they're solid band.
You inducted those boys into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't think you would do that for just anybody. I mean, you love those boys.
They're rock and roll. you
They're
know,
rock and roll.
Yeah. Billy sold up.
Is Billy Gibbons a dude that you respect on guitar?
Billy's one of the tops of the band player. Guitar players by themselves, I mean, hey, you could take them and string them up and say, yeah. But